Today, I am going to be showing you guys my brand new Victor Wembanyama build on NBA 2K23. Now, I'm really excited about this build because this is going to be a version of this build that I am going to be using in Pro-Am. However, this build is also going to be fantastic for rec. If that's something you want to use this for, it's going to be great for rep grinding, this brand new season that just came out. But with all that out of the way, man, let's get straight to the build, man. Let's go. All right, so when it comes to this build, we're going to be making it at the center position. And then when it comes to the body settings, we're going to go with the height of 7'1", weight 223 pounds with a 7'10" wingspan and a compact body shape. The 7'10" wingspan is going to be 1 off of maximum, and that's going to help us get some extra shooting badges on Hall of Fame that you will see later on in this video. But now let's talk about the finishing. On this build, we're going to get an 80 close shot, which will allow you to get pro touch on Hall of Fame, which will help you hit post hooks if that's something you want to do on this build. Secondly, you're going to get an 86 driving dunk, which is going to get you pro contact dunks as well as gold limitless takeoff on a 7'1" center. Then lastly, you're going to get an 80 standing dunk, which is going to get you the basic big man contact dunk packages as well as silver rise up, which will help you get more standing dunks in the paint. Now let's take a look at some of these finishing highlights. A lot of these clips are going to be from the new season. Some of these are going to be from the previous season in season 5. So if the rec jerseys are changing from one highlight to the other, just understand that this gameplay is going to be from season 6 as well as season 5. But with there not being any major gameplay changes between the two seasons, this build is going to play just the same in both seasons. Now let's actually talk about the finishing on this build. It's going to be pretty insane. You get some pretty nice dunk packages on this build, and again, you get the contact dunks, you get the gold limitless takeoff. That's going to really help you dunk and catch lobs when you're in the paint. And speaking of dunk packages, you get access to some of the best dunk packages in the game, like quick drops off one, as you just saw right there. You also get straight arm tomahawks, and again, like I said, you could get contact dunks on this build. Now with this low of a dunk rating, I highly recommend you try and go for contact dunks with the meter. That's just going to be me. I like forcing meter contact dunks. I feel like they're easier to get that way, but again, you can do whatever you want. So now let's move on to the shooting. You're going to get an 81 mid-range, which is going to get you midi magician on Hall of Fame as well as space creator on Hall of Fame, and then you're also going to get an 80 3-point shot on this build. With that 80 3-pointer, you're going to have access to gold claymore, gold corner specialist, as well as silver catch and shoot on this build. Now the shooting is really solid on this build. You're going to be able to do two things very well. You're going to be able to be a reliable spot up, and then secondly, you're going to be able to create your own shot as well. With having that high mid-range, you could take midi pull-ups, your midi fade, you can get into the post, do post fades, post hop shot. Everything in the mid-range area is going to be at your disposal, which is something that I have to have on every single build that I make because I love cooking people in the mid-range area. It is definitely a lost aspect of this game that a lot of people aren't really great at, and it's really important for me to have a mid-range game because I usually play on center builds that don't have ball handle, don't have really high acceleration, don't have high speed with ball. So being able to have that mid-range area when defenses are sagging off that I can shoot from, it's just super consistent and super nice to have. Now speaking of the other aspect, you're going to be a knockdown shooter on this build, whether it's on the corner, whether it's on the hash. You're getting catch and shoot on silver, you're getting corner specialist claymore. These are all the essential badges you need to shoot, and you can also put on things like blinders and green machine as well, and you will be a knockdown shooter. So now moving on to the playmaking really quickly, it's just one big important thing. You're going to get a 76 pass accuracy on this build, which is going to get you two things. First and foremost, you're going to get gold break starter on this build, which is going to help you throw passes down the court when in transition. And then secondly, you're going to get a 75 pass accuracy, which will allow you to unlock the LeBron James passing style, which is the best passing style in the game, unless if you are just using none. Now the best way to show off the playmaking capabilities of this build is showing some of the fast break offense that you can have on this build with having the 76 pass accuracy and having that gold break starter. Once you get the rebound, you can really launch it up the court and get your transition offense moving very, very quickly. And speaking from my rec experience, when having this high pass accuracy, you can pretty much get 8 to 10 assists a game just off of transition buckets, which means you could become a triple-double or even just a double-double machine pretty much every single game because you're definitely going to get those 10 boards and you're definitely going to get the 10 assists as well. So it's really just going to be up to you to get those 10 points. You think you can do that? Because man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I've gotten a lot of triple doubles on this build and it's been a lot of fun too. But that's going to be about it for the playmaking. It's pretty simple stuff, pretty self-explanatory, but now let's move on to the defensive aspects of this. All right, so now when it comes to the defense, you're going to get an 80 interior defense on this build, which is going to get you post-move lockdown on silver. You're also going to get a 67 perimeter defense, a 66 steal. Realistically, you're just going to get bronze interceptor and bronze challenger, but those badges are going to go a long way to help you get contests around the perimeter as well as getting off-ball steal. Next big and most important thing about this build build on defense, we're going to get a 99 block, which is going to get us Hall of Fame anchor, Hall of Fame polo stick, Hall of Fame chase down artist, which are all very important badges to have on a build when you want to get as many blocks as possible. And when it comes to the rebounding, we're going to go with a 94 defensive rebound, which is going to get us gold rebound chaser as well as box out beast on Hall of Fame. Secondly, we have a 70 offensive rebound so we can get some boards on the offensive end. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, the defense is one of the best aspects of this build. Having Hall of Fame anchor at the height of 7'1" with almost a maximum wingspan is going to do some crazy work for you on the defensive end. And then secondly, things that I've talked about in my previous videos when it comes to physicals, we're still going to get a 71 speed on this build, and we're also going to get an 80 vertical, which is going to allow us to get up, get more blocks, get snatch blocks, get crazy chase down, because all of those other things are very important when it comes to getting blocks. It's not just about the block rate. You also need to have a high vertical of at least an 80, and you also need to have some pretty decent speed. The speed is what's going to get you the really good chase down blocks. That's why centers that are like 7'2", 7'3" don't really get as many crazy chase down blocks, because they don't get enough momentum going towards the basket to actually chase a defender down and get a stop that way. But this 7'1" build is going to be a perfect mix of both. You're going to have enough height to get just nice, good blocks while standing in the paint, and then you're also going to be able to create enough momentum going towards the basket to get some really good chase down blocks. All right, so now let's take a look at this build fully maxed out. You're going to get 16 finishing badges, 20 shooting badges, 10 playmaking badges, and 26 defensive badges. Now, with me unlocking the level 39 reward in season 3, I have access to a double core on defense, which is what I'm going to be using for my core badge patterns. So when I make this build and I did the welcome to the league storyline and I got all my extra badge points, I ended up putting them all into shooting so I can get some extra badges over there, because I know I'm going to have the core patterns on defense, which will get me more access to more badges just by having that core pattern. And then lastly, let's just take a quick look at the physicals. You're going to get a 71 speed, 63 acceleration, 55 strength, an 80 vertical, and a 95 stamina. Now, a lot of people might have some issues with the 55 strength, but I promise you guys, you're not going to have any issues stopping anybody in the paint, even with a low strength. Pretty much ever since I've made this build and I've been playing on it for almost a week now, I have not had a single post score, even with high strength, dominate me in the paint, because you're going to be able to make up for the weakness of having low strength by having high interior as well as a high block rating. So I can guarantee you they're not going to score on you as much as you think they would. And lastly, I'm going to be using this build for Pro-Am, where you don't see post scores ever at all. So there's no point in me having strength, because I'm also not going to be the one going for box outs. I'm going to be the one dropping out of the corner to get the rebound. All right, so now when it comes to takeovers, you have access to sharpshooting, rim protecting, and glass cleaning takeovers on this build. And since I'm going to be using it for Pro-Am, I ended up doubling up on box out wall, which is going to increase all of my attributes affected by rebounding by 15 instead of 8. Now the build is done. You get the player shades that you see on the screen right here, and you're going to get the build name 3 level score. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's going to be a lot more videos of this build very soon. We're going to be taking it to Pro-Am as soon as possible, but that's going to be it for now. I'm out. Peace.